All right, hey everybody, it's Thursday evening and it's time to geek out to the weather past, present, and future across the Youngstown area and generally speaking, Ohio and western Pennsylvania. First, a little bit of business to finish up from yesterday. Yesterday, I told you that at the climate report that came out from the National Weather Service for the Youngstown Warren Airport, there was only a half an inch worth of snow, and I thought that seemed a little fishy, seemed a little low. Well, as it turned out, the number was 2.3. They corrected that late last evening and into the overnight. So that was officially the snowiest day of 2020 and of the winter season so far at the Youngstown Warren Airport, with 2.3 inches worth of snow with our snow showers and localized whiteouts on Wednesday. We did not add anything to those totals today. It was a bitterly cold start. In fact, it was the coldest morning of the season so far. You know, last evening I said I wouldn't be surprised if a few backyard thermometers got down to 12 or 13 with fresh snowpack, calm winds, clear sky. As it turns out, the airport was one of the coldest spots in the area. Got down to 10 degrees first thing this morning. Coldest temperature of this season. All right, so clouds increased today. It made for kind of a milky sky at times this afternoon. This is our infrared satellite. It's very colorful and is useful, I think, in showing clouds, especially after dark when we don't have visible imagery anymore, and especially if the clouds are more of the high variety. That particular product has a harder time seeing the kind of low stratus clouds or fog. We have to rely on other products, but that colorful infrared is something I like to use in situations like this. And you know, our system off to the west does not look very impressive this evening. This is what's going to bring us some rain tomorrow. Right now, just a scattering of showers from Detroit to Toledo to Lima and heading down towards Indianapolis, Fort Wayne. There's not a lot to this, but it is going to start to pick up some moisture as we go into the night and into tomorrow. A big severe weather day coming up tomorrow, not here, but in parts of the deep south and Texarkana, kind of the intersection of Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas. Boy, a moderate risk in the dead of winter. Very, very unusual, even for places that far to the south. So big time severe weather risk tomorrow from Dallas over towards Shreveport, and then everything shifts a little bit east on Saturday. It says tomorrow night. This should actually say day 3, which would be Saturday night. Notice the general thunderstorm area does get up into our neck of the woods. I wouldn't be shocked if late Saturday we had a rumble of thunder, a couple of bolts of lightning, a possibility. Don't think we'll have any severe weather risks around here, although it is going to be windy. We'll talk about the wind in just a moment. Interesting trends on our high-res modeling today with regard to the late night and tomorrow rain. A lot of the modeling is trying to keep most of the rain up towards I-90 tomorrow instead of down here. You know, I think I'm going to allow for showers just about everywhere tomorrow, but the most numerous raindrops might end up being north of 224 and especially north of Interstate 80 on our Friday. So there may be some prolonged breaks in any wet weather on Friday. Now our in-house model here, that was what we call the HRRR, High Resolution Rapid Refresh model. This is what I sometimes refer to as our in-house computer model. Technically it's called the RPM model, and it's a little wetter looking for Friday, but it's wetter looking than some of our other modeling. So bottom line for your Friday, just plan on some showers around, but it's not going to rain all day. And the trends for Saturday have been warmer and drier over the last few days. A lot of the rain Saturday may be focused up towards Detroit and Toledo and back into Indiana, with a wintry mess up into the thumb of Michigan and heading over towards Toronto. The longer we stay dry on Saturday, that means we're more firmly in the warm sector of this system, and the warmer it's going to get. I think records are going to fall throughout the region on Saturday. Now, as we fast forward to Sunday, the rain's long gone. Still a gusty wind, and again, I'm going to focus on the wind momentarily. Still a gusty wind, but I do think that we'll see an increase in sunshine midday and afternoon. While it will be cooler on Sunday, it's still going to be awfully nice for this time of the year, temperature-wise. All right, flash flood risk tomorrow. Locally, no problems. Northern Indiana out towards Michigan. Some low-end risks of flooding tomorrow into tomorrow night. Then on Saturday, the day 3 outlook, a medium risk of flash flooding from Toledo to Fort Wayne and points westward. Notice the low-end risk gets as close as about I-71 and maybe northern parts of Trumbull County. Overall, the highest rainfall totals over the next couple of days are going to be, west of a line like that. And, you know, I can't rule out maybe a place such as Mesopotamia and maybe down to Newton Falls, maybe getting more than 1.5 inches worth of rain. But an average amount here locally is going to be lower than that and amounts will be quite a bit higher than that off to our west. So there's going to be 3, 4, 5 inches worth of rain in places that just do not need it. It's been such a wet 12 to 18 months out in the Midwest and the Corn Belt and heading over into Illinois that, boy, this is not something they want to see there. Again, around here, our amounts are going to be manageable, I think. Here's a look at the computer model spread through Saturday night, and this is for the Youngstown Warren Airport. The high-end totals up here, somewhere on the order of 1.5 inches or so. The lower end, closer to 0.5 inch. I think for most places in our television viewing area, we're going to be somewhere in here. Inch to maybe 1.25 inches. Lower as you go down towards East Liverpool. Higher off to the north again. Northern parts of Trumbull County may be the spot that has the best chance of seeing up to 1.5 inches or even more worth of rain. It's going to be generally windy on Saturday. The windiest weather will very likely be late in the day Saturday and heading into Saturday night. Notice our model here really ramps up the wind by evening. So 30, 40, perhaps even close to 50 mile per hour gusts. And after a kind of a damp day Friday and maybe some showers occasionally on Saturday, there's going to be some loose soil and maybe we have some problems with some of our weaker, less healthy trees coming down if we get wind like this. So power outages may be a concern for a time Saturday night. Still windy into Sunday morning. And while Sunday afternoon will be generally breezy, I don't think the gusts will be as high Sunday afternoon as they will be Sunday morning. So here's a look at the weekend forecast. Record warmth on Saturday, the record's 62. We should clear that by a few degrees. Showers in spots, but not a washout at all. And then Sunday, it turns out mostly sunny, and actually I think we have a pretty nice day coming up on Monday. Finally, in the 8 to 14 day outlook, we're not covered in a sea of red and orange here. I think this is going to be a period in which colder air is finally going to win some battles. As we go towards the end of next week, into next weekend and beyond, you'll see that here on this animation, showing the cold getting released finally from the northern territories and coming down into the mainland U.S. And while temperatures are not going to be as extremely cold here as they will be in places such as Montana and North Dakota, I still think we're going to finally return to some January, some typical dead of winter weather, and more than just one day like we had yesterday. We may have a more prolonged period of just some typical midwinter cold. It doesn't look to me like a pattern that will feature any sort of extremes on the cold end, kind of like we had at the end of January last year, where we had temperatures well below zero and a real cold snap at the end of January last year. I doubt it this year, but a colder pattern is looking more and more likely. Finally, the fever is going to break, if you will, as we go towards the end of next week, into next weekend, and into the following week. All right, that'll do it for me tonight. Thanks for watching Weather for Weather Geeks, and enjoy the rest of your Thursday night, and have a great Friday.